In 2008, three complete strangers were put together with the hopes of creating the greatest Sony podcast ever heard. Today, unable to stop podcasting, the show survives as connoisseurs of dick and fart jokes. If you need Sony news, are not deaf, and don't want to die of boredom, maybe you can listen to BigRedBarel Blu.
All right, welcome to episode 194 of The Blue Show, the Big Red Barrel.
It's 193.
Well, that's because you're wrong. Moving on.
For me, it's 193. You guys recorded without me.
Episode 24 of the Big Red Barrel PlayStation podcast. What is going on this week? I'm still in a slump, and I'm tired, and it's hot in this room, and I would rather be napping than recording. But we've had crappy topics for the last couple weeks, and there's good topics this week. So I'm going to stay awake and be crabby and hot just for you guys.
Wow.
Thanks, man.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
Wilfred Brimley.
Yep. Diabetes.
His gas isn't helping either, I'm sure.
It actually does help.
You make a Dutch oven.
Yes. So what's going on, Frawlz? What's new in your world?
I don't know. I'm not Esme. That's new. What's new in my world? Let's see. I got not a lot going on. I don't know how I really want to say this, but let's just say I'm on a vacation for a while. I don't know.
Till you heal from your operation?
Yes. So it's nice and tucked, and we're ready to go. So
nice.
Yeah, I think that sums up the situation.
All right.
No, there's no sex change in my future, but there's a lot of gaming talk this time around, so I'm excited to get into it since I had a lot of time to read the agenda because I've had nothing else to do now. Read between the lines.
Are you done, Frawlz? Because as soon as I hand it over to Pac-Man, he's not going to stop for 3 minutes.
I need a new job. All right, Pac-Man, you're good. Go.
Okay, Pac-Man. You got Sleeping Dogs and 3 minutes. Go.
Okay, Sleeping Dogs in 3 minutes. Everything you saw in the trailer, everything it promised in the trailers and the videos, it lives up to it. It's not only one of the best games of the summer, it's definitely one of the best games of the year. Yes, it's an open world game, so there's similarities between GTA and Saints Row, but this game has a fantastic story. The combat, the martial arts is awesome. It's easy to use, but there's depth there. The bad guys fight back intelligently. The gunplay is good. The driving's good. There's even the mechanics. You can dive from car to car or motorcycle onto a car and hijack things as they're driving. Shootouts, shoot out tires and things fly around. All the collectibles in the game serve a purpose, so you're not just collecting for no reason. It gives you health bonuses or new martial art moves. Top to bottom, it's just a really, really, really good game. And my only complaint about an entire game is that the graphics could use some more polish in certain areas, and it's noticeable more on the consoles.
Oh, I'm not buying it now.
It's a little more noticeable on the consoles than the PC, because the PC got a free HD pack to up the graphics. But, just other than a little bit of polish as far as the way certain visuals look, it's great. I mean, just top to bottom, great, lives up to the hype, totally worth your money. And I mean, if you're a fan of Hong Kong action films, you ever watched Hard Boiled or Infernal Affairs or any of those kind of movies, it really, even though you might see little things coming, it's just done so well. It's just fantastic game. I'm so happy.
Do you think it's racist that they since they had Asian people in the storyline that they had to put like karate in it?
Well, it's not karate. It's kung fu.
Oh, it's kung fu. That's still, they couldn't just have like regular fighting matches. They had to put kung fu because they're Asian. I don't know. I just think that's stereotypical.
This is the worst question ever.
Okay. These Asian people, they have to know kung fu. Put it in. Okay. That's
right.
Totally believable.
Pac-Man, I'm impressed. That was 3 minutes. Good job.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give it?
I'd give it a 9 because nothing's perfect.
Damn.
Really? Wow. Damn.
But I mean, fun factor, it's right up there with Saints Row 3, and I really found Saints Row 3 really good, and this game's got a ton to offer, and it's not like anything else.
And there's no... If they had dildos in it, would they be really, really small?
God.
Like shank dildos?
I don't know how to answer that.
Just saying. If they...
It's a sense of scale, Frawlz. We don't know what a small dildo is to you compared to everybody else.
I'm just... I don't know. I'm just saying, confusing. You got Saints Row with the purple one. I mean, what color would this one be?
Again, I don't know how to answer that.
He's very uncomfortable and we have an entire agenda. We need to move on.
All right, let's go.
Sly Cooper Thieves in Time is one of the few games that they announced for their cross-buy promotion, which is a common theme throughout this agenda. Cross-buy is where you have a game that's available on the PS3 and the Vita, and if you buy it for the PS3, you get the Vita version at no additional charge. We were wondering how they were going to handle that. This is the best possible way they can handle that.
This is probably the best scenario. This is the best scenario you could have asked for. You were complaining a few months ago saying that they might charge double or like 1.5.
Well, yeah, I thought you might get a little discount like they did with MLB The Show, and it would take a really special game to get me excited enough to buy it on 2 different platforms. But they're also supporting cross-save, so you will be able to play on the PS3, save your game, pick up your Vita, or vice versa, and continue where you left off, which is cool. But sadly, at the end of the trailer where they were talking about this, they announced the release date. It got bumped from November of 2012 to February 2013. So,
womp womp.
Got bumped 4 months.
Got you with the good news, hit you with the bad.
Yeah. But they did say later that it was not being delayed due to developmental reasons, which you always kind of question, or at least I do. But let's see what their quote was. With a robust and diverse catalog of first and third-party content launching this holiday season, including, and then they start out with Wonder Book, Book of Spells, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, Little Big Planet Karting, Assassin's Creed 3, Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation, Madden 13, Call of Duty Black Classified. We've decided to release Sly Cooper Thieves in Time in early 2013 to ensure gamers continue to have a variety of content to enjoy after the holidays and into the new year.
I like how that's like the big blockbuster everybody's going to look forward to after Christmas. But it's also going to compete with
It's funny that they just
Dead
can't
Space
say
3.
we're going to release it later so it doesn't have so much competition.
I mean, Dead Space 3 is coming out then. You've also got...
Metal Gear Revengeance. Or Metal Gear Rising. Or whatever the hell it's called.
You got Killzone. Killzone might be coming out then too, right?
No, Killzone for the Vita, which we haven't talked about yet, it just has 2013 as a launch date. It doesn't have anything.
Oh, yeah.
God of War's in March. So
and then I think you've got the sequel to Heavy Rain, which was... isn't that coming out the exact same time? February?
There's no sequel to Heavy Rain.
Not the sequel, the other storyline made by Quantic Dreams. What's it called?
I don't know that they've announced when that's coming out. Isn't that Beyond Two Souls?
I don't know. I just don't understand how Sly Cooper is like, oh, we're going to move it to February and just to make sure that it's just, I don't know.
They did it to mess with you. Anyway, moving on. Speaking of Heavy Rain, if you drop the heavy and just call it Rain, Sony, their Japan studio announced Rain, which is a platforming game. I'd never heard a peep about this until Gamescom. You run around and your guy's invisible. You leave footprints, whatever. You can bump into stuff, knock it over. But when you go out into the rain, you see the silhouette of your character as the rain bounces off of it. It's a pretty cool effect. But
it's not realistic at all.
Yes. The Invisible Boy in the Rain is not very realistic.
Right. You know he would be in a women's room, just hanging out the whole time. There would be no game involved.
Well, I don't think this is a rated AO game, so it's not hanging out in the locker room. But you should definitely check out the trailer. I think it's on the PlayStation blog. Just search for Rain without the word heavy.
It looks cool. It's another one of those games that sort of straddles the line between... I'm starting to want to call them like art house games.
Reminds me of Echo Chrome. Just
thank you. Yes. Yes, it did.
Just in the way that they've taken this weird look and fleshed a game out around it. Just
it reminded me of Eco a little bit too.
You've never played Eco.
No, but I saw it. I saw someone play it once. My roommate beat it like 7 times.
That's what he said about you, but he wasn't talking about video games.
That's what it looked like. It looked exactly like that. The same kind of motion the little boy had, jumping up things and whatever.
There's a joke in there somewhere.
I think there is. The Unfinished Swan got a new trailer at Gamescom, and I wasn't that excited about it before, but this new trailer did a lot to really flesh it out as more than what I considered a fancy tech demo. It actually looks like a game now. It actually makes me curious what the game's going to play like, and I'm interested in checking it out. So, yay for whoever decided to put that new trailer out. It did some good.
It does look good, and it's another one of these art house games. Like, there's a bunch of them coming out now on the PlayStation that, you know, they definitely straddle the line between art and video game. And they've all got a unique mechanic that could be used in something bigger someday.
Yep,
I know.
And
so,
go ahead.
I just think it pushes storyline further too. It gives a creative edge and creative look, and kind of makes people think outside the box, storyline wise, which I appreciate. Because after a while, if you get a nice graphics and great voice acting, if there's got no story, it doesn't matter. So,
words of wisdom.
I just said that.
All right, this next game kind of blew me away. It's called Puppeteer. It's also from Sony's Japan studio. I don't know what this is. Gamescom, it's in Europe. Japan's not in Europe, but they were there full force releasing or announcing new games. This game, when I saw it, I thought, that's Media Molecule's new game. But it's not. It has nothing to do with Media Molecule. The best I can describe it is if you think of the old-fashioned Japanese puppet show or shadow theater or whatever, where they're doing these big battles and these epic scenes, and you have to imagine how realistic everything is, and all the dragons and the fantasy aspects. Well, this game is presented on a stage like a puppet show, except for all the fantasy aspects and all the creatures are fully realized in the game, and it's just trippy as hell. And the lighting, it reminds me of when I first saw Little Big Planet, and I got excited by how realistic things look. And you look at the game and you're going to think Little Big Planet, but it's a 2D platformer, and it looks very interesting. It, again, doesn't look like anything that I've seen.
So Little Big Planet's not a 2D platformer?
Well, it's a lot more than that, but this seems to be just a 2D or 2.5D platformer. You just go left and right across the screen, which sounds incredibly boring when you say it that way, but when you see the level layout, how it's like a series of different sets that as you...
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I get it. I'm just giving you a hard
looks
time.
Cool as hell. Like, I want to play it just to play it. Like, I want to know how that game plays. Like, it just looks cool.
So check out the trailer for Puppeteer and you'll know what we're talking about. I
can't wait for the next topic because I'm just dying for hear the acronym.
PSASBR.
PSASBR. Can I have PSASBR for Christmas?
PlayStation All-Star Battle Royale had some official reveals, not those stanky leaks from, 2 weeks ago. They have revealed Dante, Sackboy, Spike, in case you don't know, that's the guy from Ape Escape, I guess, and Ratchet and Clank are the latest characters to officially be unveiled. And somewhere, I guess it's further down on the agenda, this game got bumped a little bit too, by about a month. My secret theory is it's because all their characters got leaked, and they were so pissed off that they wanted another month to add somebody that hasn't been leaked yet.
That'll teach them.
Kevin Butler.
Yeah.
You gotta add Kevin Butler. I mean, you can't...
I've always said he's going to be there. He's going to be the VP of Final Bosses or something. We mentioned God of War Saga Collection last week or the week before. 5 complete games for your PS3. This week we have the price, and it's an amazing $39.99. I thought they were going to try and overprice it, like more than $60. If you don't have those games and you have a PS3, you need to go just give somebody $40 and get these games, because that's a hell of a bargain.
For all 5 games for $40, that's more than a good deal.
Absolute bargain. Huge. That's like a Groupon bargain.
I got burned on a Groupon.
Most people do. Like,
All
that
right.
massage sucked. What do you think you're going to get for $12?
You don't even work here. Okay, God of War Ascension is getting a multiplayer beta this year, and from the wording, it seems like PlayStation Plus members are the only ones getting in. And
Oh yeah.
as we mentioned earlier, March 12th, 2013 is God of War Ascension's release date.
That's not too far away.
Sly Cooper, God of War. I don't know where my money's going to go. Good thing they delayed it.
They've announced Alan Wake for the Until Dawn for the PS3. It's a horror game with PlayStation Move support that basically looks like Alan Wake. I mean, pretty much. It doesn't look bad, but it just, you look at it and you're like, that's Alan Wake.
Nothing scary when you have a glowing ball.
It's just that I'm reading what you wrote, and he's like just saying that it's reminiscent of the teen horror movies we grew up with. But I'm like, man, none of the teen horror movies we grew up with hold up now. They're all incredibly ridiculous.
When you watch them again, you're right. So maybe it is reminiscent of ridiculousness. I don't know. Let's see.
I can't say anything because I pretty much never play horror games. So
I don't either. That's why I'm not really that upset either way. So
I've heard good things about the repolish of Doom, though. Anyway.
PlayStation Plus is getting some upgrades. You'll be happy to know, Frawlz.
Good ones this time.
Cloud save capacity is getting bumped from 150 megabytes to a gig, so that'll make
won't be
0%.
Constantly maxed out every single week.
Is yours maxed out?
Man, and mine's always maxed out, yeah.
Oh, I don't play
he's
games.
got one car from Gran Turismo in there.
I need a Winnebago. My save needs to be bigger.
The worst part is that's his monthly limit. So
His bandwidth.
bandwidth limit over there.
Let's see. YouTube now has an app on the PS3. I was talking about this recently. I was kind of pissed that there was no YouTube app. And then they came out with one, and then they were like, it's not just YouTube on the PS3. You could use your phone as a remote control and interactively select and browse for videos and add them to the queue. And I thought, damn, that seems kind of interesting. And then somebody's like, yeah, it's like the Nexus Q from Google, except for it's on your PlayStation. And I was like, wow, that's really sounding interesting. And then I downloaded it, and it hung, and I rebooted, and it froze, and I rebooted, and it tweaked out, and I rebooted, and then it wouldn't play certain videos, or it would pause forever. And then I'm
that
like,
needed adult supervision.
damn. So where do I start complaining? Well, first of all, the freezing is ridiculous. Second of all, they need an app. I know they went the appless route. You pair up with the YouTube app by going to a certain website, youtube.com/pair, and then you type in the 9-digit code that displays on your screen that never seems to get saved, which is ridiculous because I have to open up my browser and either type in or track down my stupid bookmark to the website. Then I have to look up at the 9-digit code, and then I type it in, and then it tells me it's paired with my device. Why the hell are you telling me? Because you're not going to remember it the next time I come into the app. Whoop-de-doo that you've got it remembered right now. I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's like basically having a remote control for your TV, but you have to get up every time and tap the remote control against the television to walk back to the couch for it to work.
It's like I
had to get up.
So anyway, I mean, it launched at version 1.01. It was kind of odd. I mean, I got a day one. So when it gets to be maybe 1.3 or 1.4 or 1.5, I might be interested, but I don't like using things and then you telling me, oh, you can use this other device to control it for your comfort, but I'm going to hang your machine and you're going to have to get up and walk across the room anyway.
Yeah, that's convenience.
And the thing is though, Xbox has an official YouTube app that works fairly good. I mean, sometimes it hangs, but it doesn't have the integration with the phone on it.
The Vita app is decent too.
And it's got Crackle too, and you got that on the agenda. PS3 Crackle.
No, Pac-Man can get Crackle. We can't get Crackle. That's the other thing. I was just talking about this with somebody. Crackle is owned by Sony, if I'm not mistaken. There's a Crackle app on the 360.
It's like the YouTube with boobs.
Well, I mean, so you can watch free older movies. You're not going to get first run, second run, third run, but you might be able to watch really old stuff now for free. And there's no...
Like the Three Amigos.
Well, there's no app for it. And so then they do come out with one, and we don't get it in the States. There's got to be some stupid licensing.
Okay, I'm going to talk, even though there's some truck backing up outside and it's
I can
beeping.
hear that.
Where are you?
Pac-Man's girlfriend's home.
There.
But it's messed up that the one time we get something that the States doesn't, it's still something that I don't want. Oh God! And now he's backing up even closer. Like this truck is like right outside my window now. Oh, you know what it is? It's probably someone moving into the building late at night.
Nice.
Where do you live, man? Are you outside?
No, man. I'm in an apartment, but like I'm only like 2 floors off the ground.
All right, Pac-Man. Starting August 21st, PlayStation Plus members could get into the Dust 541 beta. 514. I always say it 541 because my area code's 541. A little birdie told me when I mocked this game from the get-go, and then they were talking about how they were going to tie a massively multiplayer first-person shooter in with whatever the hell that other game is that goes with it. Eve. And I said it was going to suck, and then I was told, man, give it a chance. Well, I heard from somebody that's already in the beta, I was right.
You know what? I'm already in the beta, too.
It wasn't you that told me.
It wasn't me, but I'm not going to mess anything up, but he's probably not incorrect.
Okay. Let's move on from there.
Whatever happened to NDAs?
Well, I didn't say anything.
They don't apply if you're anonymous.
That's right. I bought a game clip. That's the next topic on the agenda. That's game clip with a K.
Oh, that means it's cool.
Yes.
With a K.
Game clip with a K.
Oh, I was like, how much you rubbing that thing?
It is a single piece of molded plastic that wraps around my DualShock 3 controller that will hold my phone, so when I'm playing emulators, I can pair my DualShock with my phone and hold it like a handheld boss.
Yeah, and then you need to pick up a phone call, and you're holding a controller to your head.
No. Airplane mode when the gaming's going. You should know that.
Oh, yeah, joysticks in my note. Hold on.
You see me on the phone with a big old DualShock hanging off my hand.
This is not convenient.
That's what the Bluetooth is for.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's another thing you're going to buy.
Anyway, if you do a Google search for game clip, one word, GAMEKLIP, you'll see what I'm talking about. They support about 9 different phones. If you play classic emulators on your phone, you know that touchscreen gaming sucks when you're supposed to be using buttons, and that's a really good way to handle it. And it's cheap.
You know what a better way to handle it is? Play it on a gaming handheld.
Hey.
Wow. You just spent $350 on a phone. How does it feel to spend another $300 on a gaming console that fits in your hand?
My phone costs more than my PlayStation 3. All right, let's move on. We didn't cover this last week. I'm not, I'm the guy.
I don't remember at all.
I'm that guy that doesn't care about BioShock. So when Irrational Games lost 3 high-profile people that were working in various capacities on BioShock Infinite.
I think they lost 4, but whatever.
Yeah, you're right. I think it is 4, but at the time it was just 3. Well, Nate Wells, who was, what was he? He was an art director working on BioShock Infinite. He left. People were like, the rats are fleeing the sinking ship. Well, he turned up at none other than Naughty Dog. So they snagged some talent from the competition somehow.
Nice. Well done, ND.
So he's got some nice things to work on. I don't know which of their projects he's going to be working on, but chances are it's going to be awesome. Hopefully it'll be better for him being there. And in a weird twist, one of the guys from Epic that was heading the Gears franchise is going to Irrational Games to help him out. Even though there was no problem, they're bringing in a very established game director or whatever from, I forget this guy's name or title, but he's coming to basically make sure that BioShock Infinite still happens the way it's supposed to happen.
Yeah, it's still going to happen, only we got rid of multiplayer and 4 people left and we're bringing in new blood and everything's okay though.
But goddammit, hanging off a roller coaster and shooting people is going to be amazing and you bitches are going to eat it up.
I can't wait.
I can. I'll tell you the moment that I quit liking anything BioShock. It's when I saw I don't know if it's Levine or Levine, but when he did the PAX keynote, he just completely turned me off from anything he had to do with.
That's unfortunate because they were both really are good games, dude. You know, but maybe not for you, but just in general, I
can respect that people dig them. I have said this many times. I play games to be entertained. I want them to be fun. I don't want to feel like I'm choosing the wrong combination of plasmids and weapons and how do I solve this section, and I don't want to be scared or
I just want to jump to the next platform. That's what Rothbart wants to
do. What Rothbart's saying is he wants Bridge 3D with move support.
I want fun, and I don't want to work because I work at work. When I entertain myself, I want it to be fun.
I want to be amped, man. Like, I want to feel fucking energized. I was so tense when I was playing Sleeping Dogs, man. Like, I can't wait till we're done recording so I can keep playing. Because, like, it's rare that when you get amped and pumped up for a game, it feels great.
Just say no to games, Pac-Man.
I can't.
All right.
It's got hooks in me deep.
So if you're one of the morons out there that doesn't have PlayStation Plus and likes video games, go get PlayStation Plus, because this week they cycled in Blood Rain Betrayal, which I have no idea if it's a good game or not, and Outland, which is actually a pretty decent game, into their instant game collection. So I think if you're keeping track, since they made the big push and announced the instant game collection, had you been a member, which I think was at E3, you would now own 16,000 free games. Give or take
what
15,000.
But yeah, I mean, like, the thing is, it's not, you don't just get the 12 for signing up. You get the 12 for signing up, and then every time they cycle in new ones, you get to keep the 12 you already got and add the new ones.
That's
just
why it pays to get in early. Get in as early as you can. If you haven't, do it now. There's no reason to wait. So
nope.
Let's see, Guacamelee, which I'm sure we're all very much highly anticipating, has been confirmed.
Hold the Guacamelee.
It's been confirmed to have cross-controller support, which is their new...
I need 2 game clips.
No. It's their new...
I told you.
It's their new Wii U 2 movement, where they can say, yeah, you can play our console with our handheld. So if you play Guacamelee on the PS3 and you have a PlayStation Vita, you can use the control, I'm guessing the sticks and the buttons on the Vita, but you'll also have a mini-map on the Vita screen while you're playing on the big screen.
You're not explaining that well at all, by the way.
It's really not a compelling thing in this instance.
No, because basically it's saying what you can use your Vita as a controller, but the controller has its own mini-map on it.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
Oh, I should have just said that to begin with.
But it's Guacamelee, and you're like,
so no
oh my god, I'm using a handheld for a mini-map. It's just, I don't know.
It's a badass mini-map, though.
Little Big Planet 2 does it better, but that's later on in the agenda.
Oh?
We are now officially into the Vita news section of the agenda, but we've got to haul butt because we've got one giant rumor we have to get to.
Yes, we got one right rumor. You know what? Now it's starting to sound like Dracula.
Yeah, it is. I like that. It's kind of Vlad the Impaler and bad 80s
rumor.
Russian.
We only have one rumor, which is way more than Frawlz has jobs. I don't have a job, alright? Just laugh it up during the rumor section.
Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified finally had some gameplay footage shown. I was okay with what they showed, but then I heard it was Nihilistic Games, the guys that did the lame-ass Resistance on the Vita. And then I read your article. I shouldn't say I read your article. I saw the email that said you wrote an article that was ripping on the game, and so I assumed that it's probably poop, and you probably want to say something, so make it quick.
Okay, Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified Vita. You gotta remember, this game's only 3 months out. You know, it's not like it's going to evolve and add tons of polish and features and stuff. It's 3 months out. It's coming out in November. Okay, so, you know, at the same conference that I saw Killzone Mercenary, which ended with gameplay footage that looked really nice, you see the gameplay footage which is most of the trailer for Declassified, and it looks like a PSP game. And not even a particularly good-looking PSP game. And then they announce, what they're going to offer everyone, and it's 4v4 via Wi-Fi. 4 players versus 4 players. 6 maps. Some of them are recycled, and there's just no there's nothing there that says we're taking it seriously. It's being made by Nihilistic, so your expectations are already got to be low. But I wrote a really kind of vicious takedown of the game on the site, which sort of goes into more detail. But I use SOCOM Fireteam Bravo 3 on the PSP as the benchmark because I personally think that it had the best multiplayer offering of any handheld shooter to date. 16-player multiplayer, online 4-player co-op, 5 game modes, 8 maps, custom levels, built-in voice chat, built-in clans, and that's all stuff that a PSP game with a fraction of the money and power behind it as Call of Duty did almost 3 years ago. Almost 3 years ago. And all they can offer Call of Duty fans is 4v4. You know how much of a come down it's going to be from people who play Call of Duty on their consoles or their computers and then jump on their Vita and see dated graphics, and then they see 4v4, just 3 different game modes. It's just they could have really made this game a PlayStation Vita seller. It could have been a really, really big win for Sony to have a really good blockbuster game, and I think it'll sell well because it's got Call of Duty in it, but I don't think it'll be the savior that the Vita could really use right now in terms of having a game that sells systems.
So are there Spec Ops missions in this game? There are, aren't there?
The single player isn't a full normal single player campaign. It's bite-sized covert op missions, and they try to gloss over it, but it's not just the single player is the covert missions and then things like time trials.
Oh.
To sort of flesh out the single player experience. But then you go to multiplayer and they've got and they say they'll add new modes later, but again, it's only 3 months out, and they should be listing all the features for a game that's only 3 months out, and all they had for us was we've got maps, most half of which are probably going to be classic maps. We only got 4v4 multiplayer. Graphics don't really look so good. It's got Call of Duty's name on it, and it's the way they word it. It's supposed to take place between Black Ops 1 and 2, but it looks more like the game's much leaning heavier to the old Black Ops versus anything that's new down the road.
Well, if it's not going to play and feel like Black Ops, at least they need to make it look and be named Black Ops.
It's just. And I'm not the biggest fan of Call of Duty anymore, but I was hopeful that this Call of Duty game would be a big win for the Vita, and I think it speaks directly to how much faith Activision has in the Vita platform.
Yeah, I gotta say though, like when I saw Nuketown was on there, I got kind of excited.
Were you already excited before you saw Nuketown?
No.
What it did for me is it made the next topic seem better, and that's Killzone Mercenary.
Yes.
So
yes. Take it.
Despite the fact that they showed no fewer than I think 3 on-screen motion controls for melee attacks, I still thought it looked really good. So I'm excited. We have nothing but 2013 for a release date. What I was surprised was Guerrilla Games themselves seem to be doing this. So they are tackling the platform. I'm cautiously optimistic about that.
Well,
really?
I mean,
I'm pretty
with Call of Duty looking like it's going to be poo, Unit 13 not selling well, Resistance Fallen Skies being a piece of shit, it's really up to Killzone to be like, listen, this is how good a first-person shooter can be on the Vita. We have the preeminent... Is that even the right word to be using?
Yeah.
That we have the best shooter experience you can get on a handheld, period. And at least with Killzone, the graphics will be good. Now, whether or not the gameplay on Vita adds up or it's going to be a bunch of forced touch control shit, we don't know. But they certainly don't have any competition.
Well, maybe not in the first-person shooter arena, but damn, did you see Tearaway? Did you see the trailer for Tearaway?
It is cool.
I did not. To explain it to me.
I will explain it to you. Think of the game that you would most in this entire world mock me for being excited about, and that is Tearaway. It's colorful. It looks almost childish. every character, the entire environment is made out of scraps of paper. It uses touch controls. It uses gyroscopes.
How you don't do drugs by playing these games is beyond me.
But all I have to say, make as much fun of me as you want. Go watch the trailer for Tearaway and tell me that you're not going to say, okay, that's impressive.
It is cool. It does look cool. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be a day one purchase for me, but I mean, it does. I'm definitely interested in seeing more.
It's very stylized, very Media Molecule, basically. I mean, those guys are good. And again, they are doing a Vita game.
It's like, let's do something different. Let's do a side-scrolling paper game.
Well, you've got a point there, just pointing out that, you know, the big PS3 developers are themselves doing their Vita games, because before it was sort of farmed out, you know, sort of like Call of Duty to Nihilistic, but it's nice to see the big guys taking the Vita seriously, and it shows, because they're the ones who are closest to Sony.
And they're not likely to one-off a game. I mean, if they take the time to learn the tools on the Vita, they're going to do more than one game on the Vita. So I'm all for it. And I mean, those two developers are great. They've got a good track record. So Frawlz, we're at the point of the agenda where you get the most excited. PlayStation Vita firmware. There's a new one coming out. I know the only thing you like more than firmware upgrades for your hardware is firmware upgrades for hardware you don't even own. So
yeah, no, that's
on August 28th, we are finally getting PlayStation 1 Classic support added to the Vita. So through PlayStation Plus and purchases of my own, I have over 24 PlayStation 1 games. I'll be able to put whichever ones I want on there. They're adding, and I'm surprised this was missing to begin with, they're adding button support to the main interface of the Vita. You could not use the face buttons to scroll up and down. You had to use touch commands. That's awesome. So they're adding that. They're adding variable speed, fast forward, rewind to the video playback. You're able to import playlists from the PS3 and iTunes. Shut up, Frawlz.
Sick and tired of using your controller to move around the cross-media bar?
There's no cross-media bar. Anyway.
Or your move?
Shut up. They've added cross-controller support to the live area under Remote Play. Titles such as Little Big Planet 2 will support cross-controller. And let's see. They're really pushing the cross-play and cross-save as two initiatives for Vita and PS3 compatibility. So
I can see that.
Ooh.
Yeah, and Media Molecule is releasing the Wii U DLC for Little Big Planet 2, where they say, you know what, we can use our handheld to control our 2D game, just like you can do.
Do you think the developers that make these enhancements sit in there get excited over all this stuff? Like, oh, everybody's going to be so amazed by the new update. This is so cool.
Well, I mean, with
Little Big Planet,
there's some real applications for using your Vita as a secondary controller, whereas some of the other things, it's just pure gimmick.
Yep, like minimaps.
Yeah, okay.
Let's see. We've got two more topics here. Ratchet & Clank Full Frontal Assault has been announced as a Vita title as well. It's one of the cross-buy titles. There's too many crosswords. Cross-controller, cross-buy, cross-play, cross-save, cross-media bar. Damn.
Cross-dresser.
Yeah. Hot cross buns. So, you buy the one version on the PS3, you get the Vita version free. Sounds like a deal to me. But we didn't even know there was a Vita version coming until yesterday, so yay. And then the last bit of Vita news, which I think Pac-Man might be cautiously optimistic about, is they showed more Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation footage, and it's still looking pretty damn amazing. And to distance itself from the first Assassin's Creed's criticisms of it's the same thing over and over, this game, as Kotaku pointed out, has whips, blowguns, and alligator wrestling, not to mention that you're playing an African-American woman. And
does it still have hay?
There is hay. I saw diving off of rooftops into hay, yes.
That is so unrealistic.
It's hard to say that, Assassin's Creed, AC3 Liberation, and Uncharted on the Vita, I mean, those two games are definitely pushing the benchmark in terms of visuals. And not only visuals, but I mean, if you look at the speed at which the gameplay footage for Liberation is shown, she's moving at a good clip. You know what I mean? And you're not, and obviously we're only seeing little bits and pieces, but there have been some still shots of it, and you don't see a lot of tearing or anything. It looks like it's holding up. So I'm curious to see what the frame rate, they talk about is. Anyway.
All right.
Can I make an observation here? We've got this whole game thing that just happened. We've had E3 happen. We've got more Move support games than we actually have games supporting 3D now. Do you notice that?
Well, I think that may not be accurate. I think that they're not pushing it. Because
you think these games coming out are going to have 3D support?
Not all of them, no, but some of them do. Like the Ratchet and Clank collection that comes out at the end of this month. They're not pushing that it does, but it does.
Okay. Just saying, it just feels like it's kind of like they're like,
Well, it was a company-wide movement last year, and they blatantly came out and said this year that do it if it seems like it's reasonable, but you're not forced to. So I think that's where we are.
Yeah, I mean that's part of Sony backing away from their really heavy investment in their 3D TVs as well. They were trying to be at the cutting edge of 3D TVs, but just with the economy, 3D TV adoption's going to be slow.
It's time for the rumors.
I thought we did the rumors. I did the rumors intro already.
No, you didn't. Do it now.
I did the rumors intro. I did it prematurely.
That's what she said.
He did do it early, and then we went back.
I did do it a week early, and then you guys went back into Vita news again. I thought we were going to rumors.
Well, we never actually were at the rumors, and we never read the rumor.
All right, we'll read the rumor because I sound like Count Dracula or Count Chocula, like one. All
right, if that's the way you want to do it. I could see you go out on a date and you're like getting bread at the table, and you're like, and then later on you're at your apartment and she's like getting you undressed, and you're like, I did it already. We've got 2 seconds to do this rumor, and I don't even think I can read a half of it. Okay. Now, this is bizarre, and I'm going to speed through it, and it covers like 6 different topics, and we're all going to say it sounds true, but I'm going to read it anyway, damn it. Sony apparently filed for a patent for a variant of the PlayStation Move sharpshooter rifle. This variant is actually supposed to hold 2 PlayStation Move controllers for added accuracy, as well as another diagram that showed a pistol that holds a PlayStation Move controller but has secondary tracking objects, which seemed like lights, but they weren't the big bulbs like on the PlayStation Move controller. And again, it seems like it's intended to increase accuracy. A third diagram in the patent showed a rifle with a secondary screen. I don't know if this is supposed to be a phone or a Vita or whatever, for sniping purposes, where you could, see a zoomed in view on your small screen of whatever you're pointing at on the TV. Then there's yet another variant of that, which includes 2 PlayStation Move controllers and a scope size display. And in the diagram, this one actually made me want it. They showed an image of an airplane flying off the edge of a TV, and this guy was shooting at like a 40-degree angle from the TV, but he could still see the item in the screen inside his scope, even though he was now pointing way off to the side of the TV. I thought that was pretty awesome. And then the last diagram showed what didn't look like a gun at all, but Darth Maul's double-edged lightsaber that may possibly pivot in the middle. And I don't know if it's going to be used for really uncomfortable racing games or bow staff fighting or what, but damn, that's a lot of PlayStation Move controllers for a company that, according to Frawlz, is not being successful with Move controllers.
That's all that stuff sounds true and kind of crazy, and I think it's just funny because so many people gave me crap for saying, no matter what, Move will never be that accurate because the whole, one-to-one tracking or whatever numbers you want to quote means nothing because game to game, it's how good the games are. And in the end, almost all of them have even more aim assist than a normal controller does in a lot of games. And now we've got... See, some of this stuff I don't think has anything to do with accuracy as much as just sort of making it feel a lot cooler to be playing those games.
I feel cooler walking out of the store with those things.
But I mean, the whole looking down a sniper rifle and being able to look away from the screen and still see what you're looking at down the scope.
That's badass.
That is cool. Yep. I don't care who you are. That shit's cool.
It's like it's a diagram of a plane flying off the screen, and if you aim, like if the plane goes off the screen, you can still move your controller away from the screen. It'll still be in your scope as if you're still looking at the screen. It's kind of trippy, it's cool, and it's a good concept, but I mean, if you've got money, it's one of these, like, I've got money to spend toys, and one game's going to come out that's going to support it.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a whole bunch of all the people who use sniper rifles who are still playing MAG. They're going to be like, oh man, nice, now I can have even something new to use for the one weapon that works really good with Move.
All right.
I mean, that's not true. They all kind of work good.
I mean, I would just if you have that, I think that's a disadvantage. You just
we got to get to the shout outs because we're running late. I want to give a shout out to Dean Biddler from the Big Red Barrel community. Beaver Bellies. I don't know.
That just sounds so awful.
And I'm going to give a shout out to our fellow podcaster Yoshi Fett from the Big Red Barrel community. Because he pointed out I'm older than him on Twitter.
Wow.
Go for Brimley.
That was nice.
Yep. So,
and diabetes. I want to give a special thanks to Flusterclux.
That's not Flusterclux.
Flusterclux.
There you go.
Yeah, from the BRBC, Albino Platypus from the Twitters, and Ginger Boy 507 from the Twitters.
I'd like to give a shout out to Carbasi92 from the Big Red Barrel community, Spec Ops 729. What up, buddy? And shout out to Ruth Rumhammer, I believe is how you say it.
God,
the Twitters.
That dude harasses me every week.
And
good.
I feel bad for not writing down people's names, but a couple people hit me up on Facebook. So shout out to all of the military personnel who are posted over in Okinawa in Japan, because apparently the Blue Show gets play around the barracks.
We're fighting a good fight over there.
And shout out to all the military people who listen to us. I'm always surprised when military people are always surprised to find out that I'm an Army brat and that I actually know some of the slang they use. But shout out to all the military folk who listen to our show. This weekend, Gamer Night, we have, this Saturday, we have another Gran Turismo 5 Gamer Night put on by Jedi Junkie. So it's 11 p.m. BST, that's 3 p.m. Pacific time this Saturday. And, there's a whole bunch of different events. It's really well organized. Jedi Junkie does a really good job. And then next weekend is Transformers Fall of Cybertron, and we're probably going to be playing that for at least a couple weeks, and not next weekend, but the weekend after. We will have prizes and DLC, or we should if we get it in time.
And not only that, but Extra Life's coming around the corner. So if you don't have your teams yet, start registering now.
Yes, definitely get involved with Extra Life. Start up your page. Donate to other people. Get donations for yourself. Pick a good charity.
Right.
We're going to go big this year, just like we do every year. I mean, this is going to be, our 5th or 6th year doing it?
27.
Yeah, it's around 30.
Around 30. But if you look on Twitter, Doc is still, full bore going with Children's Miracle Network. So, he'll be really happy to see anyone still supporting Extra Life. How can you not? I mean, play video games. It's not like you're stressing.
We got to get to the bonus content because we're running long.
Boner content.
If you have an iPhone, iPad, Android tablet, Android phone, whatever, go to your appropriate market and download the Big Red Barrel podcasting app.
And if you live in a place that can't get it, I'm sorry.
All right, boner content. Let's do this. Frawlz in your mouth.
Stay frosty, everybody.
You and your ears are quite welcome for the podcasting goodness that you just heard. Why not roll on over to BigRedBarel.com for more podcast, news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarel.com.